All right, Xbox. All right, Slick Philly Spencer. You have an opportunity right now, should you choose to seize it, to do something that you haven't managed to do in quite a while for a lot of people. I'm sure, you know, Xbox diehards and the fanboys and the people who lap up everything you put to them in their little water dish have always rode with you. But the general consensus, the general consumer has had some questions about you as a company and where you're sort of going with things. Now, I am not an Xbox hater. I am not a Nintendo YouTuber. I play my Xbox Series X quite a bit. I love revisiting older Xbox and Xbox 360 titles. I like Xbox, okay? I don't get where this notion is that I don't like Xbox. What I don't like about Xbox is the political BS that sort of happens with these games where it's like, oh, they're coming, just wait till next year, and they constantly dangle that little carrot in front of you, and then they never seize the opportunity. But like I said, Xbox has a very special opportunity right now to be the king of all of these summer presentations. We of course had the PlayStation Showcase presentation, which for many people was a bit of a disappointment. Sure, we learned about some things, but as far as stuff that's coming out in the near future, we only learned about Spider-Man 2. Now, granted, Spider-Man 2 looks absolutely phenomenal. It has a release date. It's coming out in October of this year, and I am super stoked on this. Spider-Man is my favorite Sony first-party franchise right now. Yes, over The Last of Us. Yes, over God of War. I just love Spider-Man, and I think Spider-Man 2 looks absolutely fantastic. You know, you're going to have the ability to switch between different Spider-Men. You, of course, have Venom making an appearance, but that's pretty much it for Sony. As far as 2023 is concerned, as far as big first-party titles are concerned, that's the only game we know about, and that really seems like that's the only game we're going to know about. Nintendo. What's Nintendo doing? Granted, they did just drop what's going to be Game of the Year with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I am well over 100 hours into it. I finally decided to beat Ganondorf. Pretty cool battle. You know, I like this. The final stage of the battle was actually pretty neat. And now I'm just sort of going back and finding things that I didn't find on my first playthrough. But Nintendo essentially blew their load for 2023, for lack of a better term. What, Pikmin 4? I know all these Nintendo YouTubers trying to hype up Pikmin 4. It's not going to happen, people. Pikmin is a very niche game. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it has a niche audience. And beyond Pikmin 4 in July, we don't know anything. Word on the street is that there's not going to be a Nintendo Direct this June. There might be something in July, but it definitely feels like we're winding down the Switch's life cycle. So we have Sony, who kind of didn't really do much with, you know, just bringing Spider-Man to awareness as to be a thing. It is coming out in 2023. We have Nintendo, who's already pretty much done what they're going to do for this year, at least as far as we know. And then there's Xbox. The biggest questions lie within Xbox. You, of course, have Starfield still coming out this year. Forza 8 is supposed to come out this year as well. You have an opportunity to take the center stage of this and really bring some goodwill back towards your brand and your company, because right now people are getting tired of the Xbox mantra where they tell you all this stuff, they hype you up for stuff. Look at Redfall. And I'm one of the people who has spoken very kindly about Redfall, all things considered, versus what some other people have said. I don't think it's the worst game of all time. I beat the game with MVG and Spawnwave and Nate the Hate. We played through the game and beat the game. Was it fun? At times it was fun playing with, you know, your friends, but as a single player experience, it would have been absolutely horrible. As a game, it was not very good. There were some interesting concepts. There were some interesting ideas that didn't really get fleshed out. And the performance of the game was definitely very lacking. It didn't run very well. We still don't have 60 frames per second, this, that, and the other. It felt like another Xbox lie or an Xbox misconception of what this game was going to be. And obviously, this game was very rushed. But you had a lot of time when you compare last year, 2022's presentation, to this year, 2023. You said that there were going to be 3 games that came out. Only one of those games came out, Redfall, and it was obviously very rushed. But now we have Starfield with a release date. We don't know anything really about Forza 8. But you would assume that other Microsoft companies have also been working on projects. You would assume that there would be other projects that could be potentially ready at the end of this year, early next year, or even by summer of next year. This 12-month lifespan that you gave to yourself last year it's probably more appropriate this year. There's a lot of games that we know about that we haven't really seen anything from. We haven't seen gameplay of these games. We haven't seen anything beyond just a little teaser announcement. I mean, you got games like Avowed, you have games like Fable, you have games like Perfect Dark. These are supposed to be big properties that are coming to the Xbox brand and the Xbox Series system. First party games, console exclusive games, stuff that will sell Game Pass, stuff that will sell your hardware, which I don't think you really care about selling your hardware, but these type of titles will sell your hardware to some degree. Because when I look at stuff like the two games, the latter two games I just mentioned, Avowed is obviously its own little thing. It's a brand new IP. The sky's the limit with that. But when I look at something like Fable, when I look at something like Perfect Dark, all right, let's take a look at Perfect Dark. Why is Perfect Dark a popular franchise? Well, obviously, it's because of the N64 Perfect Dark game. That was an iconic game, one of the most groundbreaking N64 games in terms of like visual style and presentation. The gunplay was really tight, the sort of spiritual successor to GoldenEye 007. People love Perfect Dark on the N64, say it's better than GoldenEye. I'm not really one of those people. I feel like it's sort of a nostalgic thing with me, whereas like Perfect Dark, I don't really have that same nostalgia, but even playing it today, I could definitely appreciate the game. But then you had Perfect Dark Zero at the launch of the Xbox 360, a game that, well, wasn't good. You know, I don't think it was bad, but it was definitely very mediocre. And the whole reason why Perfect Dark has this following is because of the N64 title, but they haven't managed to capture that sort of spirit in nearly 25 years. Are younger gamers going to be interested in the Perfect Dark IP? What are you doing to make it so that it's relevant now, and so you can get the nostalgic buys, but you can also get the younger generation of people? You could say the exact same thing with Fable. Of course, the original Fable launched on the Xbox with all these promises for Peter Molyneux that ended up not really coming to fruition. Granted, Fable was still a fantastic game, and definitely a game that was very unique when it first came out. There's been other Fable games that have come out, Fable 2, Fable 3, the Fable anniversary game or whatever, and they were all fine, but I don't know that they really captured the same essence of the first Fable game. But when you fast forward to the modern gaming era, what does Fable do, the original Fable, what does Fable do that current games don't do? You know, it was definitely a product that was interesting, much like Perfect Dark, where there weren't many console games to compare this to. Perfect Dark, what are you going to compare it to? Other N64 shooters? It obviously was bigger, badder, and potentially better, or arguably better, I should say, than other first-person shooters on the N64. Fable, it was kind of a one-of-a-kind game on the original Xbox, but things have sort of advanced. But I feel like those are two franchises that'll at least get people interested. At the very least, even if these games are complete abominations of the franchises that they represent, Perfect Dark and Fable, at least they have that sort of name value to where, you know, maybe disenfranchised gamers of years past who haven't been following Xbox, they might get interested in it. Of course, you also have games like Hellblade 2, which a lot of people are looking forward to. I love the first Hellblade. Hellblade 2, another game. Microsoft has all of these first-party properties and titles that are supposedly in development, but we haven't seen much of anything from any of these games. Are we going to talk about newer games and not showcase the games that we've talked about in years past? Are we going to finally show off gameplay of the games that we've already announced and talked about, and then sort of focus on the future in another presentation or something like that? Do you have anything coming out in 2023 beyond Starfield and Forza? Because right now, you're kind of leading the charge here with those two games. Obviously, I think Spider-Man 2 is going to beat those games in terms of sales, but that's 2 games to 1. If the PlayStation only gets Spider-Man 2, like, that's it. If Nintendo Switch only gets Pikmin 4, like, that's it. Obviously, I think there's going to be something else for Nintendo, but Microsoft is in a position right now to sort of catapult themselves to be the king of the summer, or queen of the summer, as you would have it, and just, you know, get people excited for the brand once again. I don't know what I'm expecting from this presentation. I was gonna do sort of a predictions thing, but Microsoft is such a wild card when it comes to these presentations. I don't really know what to expect. I don't know which sort of direction they're going to go in. I don't know if there's going to be more collaborations with third-party companies, getting exclusive games, or getting games available on Game Pass on day one, because that's a very attractive thing. When a multi-platform game comes out on Game Pass on day one, I mean, I'm probably going to play it on Game Pass instead of playing it on something else, unless I got a review copy on another platform. We, of course, have heard sort of the law of diminishing returns when it comes to subscription services like Game Pass. However, Matt Piscatella talked about this on Twitter the other day, who of course heads up the NPD group. There was only a 2% growth from April 2022 to April 2023 in terms of more people signing up for these subscription services. You're getting to the point of where it's almost like how movies have become with these subscription services. You have Netflix, you have Disney Plus, you have HBO, or you have Max, you have, you know, Peacock, you have Pluto TV. Like, you have all these different services, and it's like, this is overwhelming. Like, there's too many services. Obviously, Game Pass is kind of the top of the mountain right now, at least in terms of what games are getting available on these services. But still, you're only going to be able to reach a certain amount of people before you hit that saturation cap. And maybe that saturation market is a lot lower than Xbox was thinking it was going to be. At this point in time, though, as far as my predictions, show me games. Show me gameplay of games. Aaron Greenberg already said, I believe it was Aaron Greenberg, put the tweet up, Brett. Aaron Greenberg already said, or somebody at Microsoft or Xbox said that it was going to be mostly gameplay footage and in-game engine footage, which I don't really like in-game engine footage, but whatever. I'll take it over a CGI trailer. So they're hyping up this thing to be something special. And I hope they succeed, because at the end of the day, competition is what drives this industry. People say, oh, you know, 2023 is just the best year ever of video games. And I'm like, are you a child? Just thumb through an EGM from 1995 and look at the amount of competition with Sega, with multiple platforms out in the market, with Sony coming into the marketplace, with Nintendo having multiple platforms on the market and gearing up for the launch of the N64, with the Neo Geo, with the Atari Jaguar, with the 3DO. That was competition. That was driving everyone to make bigger and better experiences. And the less companies we have in the hardware side of things, the less competition we have. So I want Xbox to hit a home run. I want Xbox to knock this out of the park. Surprise me. Show me gameplay footage. Give me release dates for your games. And make me excited for the Xbox brand again. I'm trying not to get too worked up about this presentation. I'm trying not to put too much hope into it. But I just can't help but feel like this is it, man. We've been waiting for Xbox to make their mark on the industry with, you know, since the Xbox One launched. I'm going to be real with you. Since the Xbox One launched, it's definitely been a steady decline for them when it came to first-party titles and just enthusiasm about the brand. Unless you're a diehard fanboy, then you loved everything. But it's time. It's definitely time for me. If you don't show up to this presentation with some bangers, if you don't show up to this presentation with some new games, some release dates for games, I can't help but feel like something's got to give. So let me know what you think of this in the comments section down below. What are you expecting to see at this Xbox presentation? Because I really don't know. I really just do not know what to expect here. I'm just hoping for goodness. I'm expecting decence, and I hope for goodness. I don't even think decence is a word, but we're making it a word here. So that's what we do. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Come on, Xbox, don't let me down. Phil Spencer, I'll take you to the strip club after we play 18 holes and I cheat because I'm not good at golf. Later.